Hi everybody, this is Carol from Practical Mystic, and as always, thank you for joining me today as we continue to learn the minor arcana cards with an understanding of numerology. Now this is part 4, and we will be discussing the fourth cards of the 4 suits. The number 4 in the 4 suits is what we're going to be doing today. But just a quick recap on odd and even numbers. 4, as you well know, is an even number, and even numbers are considered kind of subjective, receptive, and of the feminine nature. So keep that in mind. Also, in numerology, 4 is looked at to having spiritual qualities, and the Rider-Waite-Smith cards depict this in their images. So let's take a few seconds out right now and look at those spiritual aspects of the images and the influence of that number 4. Of the 4 suits, we already know that the Wand suit is our spiritual suit. It represents the self and enterprises. So in the 4 of Wands, the spirituality is really depicted first and foremost by the suit, and secondly with the beautiful yellow. It's called the spiritual light, the spiritual sun, really taking over the whole card, and even the let's say the platform in which they walk on is a yellow. And yes, yellow has to do with the intellect, but here it is a higher form of insight. In the 4 of Cups, the spirituality is easily shown by the Ace of Cups. We know that the Ace of Cups is the hand of God, giving us a seed, an offering. In the 4 of Swords, very easy to see the spirituality here. We have someone in the a church. There's a stained glass. We have praying hands, which we'll discuss here in a few minutes. And in the 4 of Pentacles, the first thing we see is all 4 pentacles have the 5-pointed star upright. It is not reverse. We have a very symbolic wholeness with his arms forming a circle, which is unity, infinity, change, transformation as life unfolds. And lastly, he has one of his pentacles on top of his crown chakra, where it is said to have the entrance of divine guidance and learning. Okay. So that helps you see where that number 4 and the quality of spirituality comes from. Also, 4 relates to the 4th zodiac sign in astrology, and that is Cancer, the sun sign Cancer. Now, Cancer is a cardinal water sign, but for those of you who don't know much about astrology, there is 3 modes of expression, and they are cardinal, fixed, and mutable. And Cancer, being a cardinal water sign, kind of gives it initiation. It's an ambitious energy and an independent energy. So keep that in mind as you look at these cards. Now, Cancer is there's a glove for each zodiac sign, and Cancer is the crab with its exterior protective crust of a shell and large claws that hold and tend to cling to things. And what does that mean? Well, symbolically, the shell protects the softer interior. It houses what is vulnerable, much like the protective nature of the Cancerian personality, which are very protective and very nurturing of those that they love. All right, so how this corresponds to the number 4 is that the number 4 is considered a secure formation, having constructed boundaries, There's a sense of security on all 4 levels that have been established now. So, in essence, it's the result. Remember when I opened up these series that I said each number is going to be a stepping stone for the other number? Well, in essence, it's the result of the movement, the creativity, and the activity of the number 3. In 4 now, because of that, we have one more aspect. We now form a square, where in the 3, of course, we have the triangle. So now let's get back to the symbolic representation of the protective nature in the images in the 4 suits, that protective nature of the Cancerian personality and energy here. You have in the 4 of Wands a castle. Castle protects. It is closed on each end. So that's the protection shown in the 4. Here in the 4 of Cups, well, you have a person sitting on a hill, a mound, with their back towards the protection of a tree. So they feel like they've risen above, they're away from the city and other people, they're secluded, so there's protection there. Certainly we can see the security and the peace of mind of anyone who is in a church or a monastery or cathedral. So here there is that security of the building as well. And in the 4 of Pentacles, here again, we have a walled city where the image is sitting with its back behind it and seems to be on a higher platform. And the color in the background is gray, indicating that there's been a balance. There's nothing there. It is void of anything hampering or affecting it. So that is that security. He's certainly sitting above the city buildings and that platform with what is called a cube, and he seems to be quite content. So that is that security that comes from the Cancerian or the Cancer symbolic correspondence with the number 4. So you have all that to think about. Now let's begin interpreting these cards. Of course, I like to start out with each segment with the same suits in the beginning. In our 4 of Wands, well, we have balance and harmony. We have 2 wands on each side here, and they're secure, and the people are celebrating. They have built a solid structure. They have a castle. They feel secure to have their children behind them playing, and they are forming a circle. They're having joined hand here. So there's future growth. There's growth in spirituality and objectivity. There is the union of opposites, and that is depicted with the blue and the red. Blue indicating the feminine and the red indicating the masculine. And they've united these two and formed a bridge. And in so doing, uniting the two energies, there's been fruition, there's been growth, as well as what this bridge is indicating too. 2 opposite areas have now been joined, they've been bridged together. So the self now has confidence and a deeper self-awareness as he or she has bridged their own opposites. From the power of the known to the unknown. And usually when this card comes up, you have a new identity, a new purpose, and sometimes there's an announcement of what you're going to do next. Okay, let's move on to the 4 of Cups. Now, it's easy to see that there's overworking of the imagination here. And I use imagination because cups are intuitive. They're feeling, they're emotional. And there's a lack of awareness that's what's available to us. And now the image of the card does give us a clue to what is going on inside this person if we just look at the body language. all four extremities are in a cross position. There's emotional inertia. Is he pouting? Is she pouting? Are they angry? Are they on the defensive? Are they reliving old hurts, unmet expectations, disappointments, and all of that that's going on within them is not conducive to change, transformation, or growth. So when we look at this present situation, we know that when we're in this state, opportunities go by. We're not open to opportunities. We're so stuck and stubborn. Now, stubbornness and refusing to let go of old hurts and situation is sometimes correlated with the shadow aspect of the Cancerian personality. And I'm going to say with all water signs, I'm not going to pick on certainly the Cancerian personality. But the four reminds us that we can stay stuck and boxed into our story and away from activity and participating in the world, and sometimes feeling victimized. But that dissatisfaction will not go away until we choose to open our eyes to new understanding of the situation and maybe getting a new perspective on things. Okay? Let's move on now to the Four of Swords. Now, we are taking time out to logically, we know that swords has to do with thinking, create, plan, and make choices for the future. And he or she has taken the three swords, the logic, and has put them in a neutral gray place. And what is depicted here with the yellow sword, again going back to intuitive awareness in the yellow, or intuitive thinking, this person is now saying, I want to get out of my own logical mind and get into a higher mind. Okay, now, from what has been shown from the 3 level, this person now says, I'm going to clasp my hands with my fingers pointing up. And that again is a symbol or a gesture. It's definitely a Christian symbol, a gesture for prayer, reverence, and respect for what already has been established, with an openness to receiving more, so that we have now gotten away again from the busyness of life, and we've opened ourselves up to divine intervention with a contemplative mind, maybe meditating, and in that peace and tranquility gets some different insights. So this is a very beautiful, powerful card. They all are in some way and fashion. On to the Four of Pentacles. Okay, now this is very personal, practical, tangible security here when we look at the Four of Pentacles. You've done your work. You are good at mastering your abilities, and as a result you formed a secure base, a secure foundation, and that's kind of depicted by the, I'm going to say, the fur or the quality of his clothing. They're made to last, and maybe frugal in a way, but that's what the image here is, that you make good use of what has been given to you. And because of that, that means that you're going to be able to create more success in the future. So now you've turned your back on the world on many levels, and you also are contemplating how to use the resources you've gained. You're well grounded, you're centered, and you're in a balanced state. And look at him, he's fixated on learning more. And If you look at the, let's say the chakras, he's covered the heart and the higher heart. And he's realized the importance of grounding himself. So he's placed his pentacles in areas that are quite in line with a spiritual alignment. So let's say money and material things are important, and at the 4 level, here is the place where you bring in the spiritual aspect of these things, learning the importance of letting go, transforming your material wealth, and achieving wholeness. Wholeness also in the physical body and in health, but also maybe in giving to the poor, investing in green energy, using your money wisely to help society and others. So that's what the number 4 of Pentacles depicts, that you're now ready to be opened up with your firm foundation and everything that you achieve to go into a higher state of manifesting and personal growth and material growth as you move on in life. Well, folks, this is where I'm going to end it. I don't want these to be too long. I welcome your questions and comments. Thank you so much for your support and your interest in these series. Hey, we're going to talk again soon. Have a blessed and wonderful weekend. Bye for now.